Submission Radio here with Eric Nicksick and Sean Strickland ahead of UFC 293, brought to you by Manscaped. Code word submission 20% off. Eric, I want to kick this off with possibly the most important question.
How much is Manscaped paying us for this?
Well, afterwards we will be shaving you boys for free, and usually we do charge. We usually do charge $15 AUD, which is technically
my nuts could use a
whatever ball haircut you want, we'll do it for you.
We've got a whole team.
Bro, I'm actually pretty fucking rough right now, you guys.
It'll help the weight cut.
Yeah. And like Submission Radio was never really about MMA anyway. We just ended up here usually just dominatrix and ball shaving. So it's good to have you guys in this room with us. But I was going to say, Eric, most important question. Sean's been debating this with his missus. Cyclist, you hit him. Do you report the person that hits the cyclist and put him in jail, or you drive off? So I got to get your thoughts on it. What do you think you do in this situation? Because you're one of the best strategists in the game.
Yeah,
I think Sean, this is the guy that gets the getaway with us and kind of figures out a way to get.
No, he ain't putting his wife in jail, bro. Eric will take a fucking shovel and bury the guy and finish 100%. Off the job.
So it's not about. So this is what wasn't spoken about in the embedded. It's about really kind of like getting rid of the evidence.
Yeah, 100%. Like how do we clean this up?
Well, no, like so, Mike, dude. Here's what you guys got to understand. There are some morally righteous people. Like I think Eric's wife would probably turn him in. You know.
Yeah, she might.
We're not two of them, that's for sure.
She might.
But again, but I'm saying that's kind of somebody I think you'd want. You kind of want to be with somebody who's not a piece of shit.
Right.
Because you get two pieces of shit together, and now you're like, where does it stop? Where does it stop? So it's like, it's good to have someone better checking you a little bit.
But the question is, did you phrase it wrong, Sean? Because you said you hit the cyclist, but really, was the cyclist actually hitting you?
Man,
there you go.
It's more like a future thing. Like if you knew you were going to prison, and this is the hardest thing when you commit a crime. You can't tell the future, So sometimes you have to weigh the severity of the crime with how I'm going to act this. And now, let's just say that, the severity of that crime was severe and you knew the future. So that's why you have to have weight to the situation,
Yeah.
So we run these hypotheticals all day long. This is what we do. This is what we run, these hypotheticals, and so he's getting his hands wrapped before he fought a Boost, and the hypothetical while Tate's wrapping his hands, and Tate just pauses. This is why I fucking love you guys, because we were talking about if we had a plane crash. Who are we eating first?
Yeah.
Out of the gym, who are the team? Who do we have? And Chris Curtis comes up with the idea that we have to kill Sean, even if he's alive, because Sean's going to kill everybody and eat everybody.
Bro, Kurt is the biggest fucking pussy there is, dude. But no, Brad was telling my girl, so when Kurt fought in Miami, and there was it was Kurt's girl, my girl, and they were walking. And this drunk guy just starts following him. It's kind of dark.
I remember that,
yeah, right? And it luckily didn't go that way, but if I was first on scene, there's a chance I spike this man on the ground and kill him. And I was like, babe, I'm going to need you to say what happened. I'm going to need you to say that he grabbed you, that he was trying to rape you, that he accidentally fell. I was like, so I'm not saying these situations could never happen, but I just need to know.
You need a good alibi.
And now I know.
Your story straight, everyone's got to be on the same page.
But the problem is, my girl's so honest, so she'll just tell the guy, my boyfriend's an asshole. He walked up and spiked this guy's head on the ground. So what I'm saying, babe, is next time you're getting fucking raped, and I'm just walking away.
Well, I guess the thing as well with it is, it's about building a good case. It's about building a good story. And, speaking of good stories, you guys have had an incredible journey. Me and Cass were talking about it, and dude,
you guys a couple?
We are, yeah.
Are you
a couple of guys that love interviewing legends before fights. Shaving their balls.
Well, no, I say that because you have your arm around him. I didn't know if you guys were gay. Are you guys gay?
Why do you not have your arm around Eric, man?
What's going on?
I'm on a chair, not on the castle couch. No, but you guys aren't gay. You guys aren't a couple?
Well, it just depends how much money you have in your pocket right now. So let's figure it out later. I got a kid and a missus, and so does Cass, but, whatever. It's Sydney. We'll see what happens. But you guys, man, the journey, Sean, your journey in the UFC has been incredible. You've been in the company for quite some time now, and you told Eric, you go, man, this might not happen again. I might not get this opportunity to fight for the title. And I want to get from Eric's perspective, though, before we actually go into what this means.
When the UFC says jump, you say how high?
No, I want to know, Do you think back to the first time you guys met and what it was?
Man, that was
what's the meet cute? Because there's always a good meet cute for the.
Yeah, so I met Sean 2014.
I was just a guy though, man. I just walked in there. I was trying to spar Brad, and Brad fucking beat me up.
It was actually we had a grappling day, and Sean came in. This is I think he just got the Bubba McDaniel fight. This is a long time ago. I think it was his first fight in the UFC. So.
Welterweight.
Yeah, welterweight, and then I
that was middleweight. I didn't go.
Because it was short notice, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was. I wanted to go welterweight later on, just because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Guys, hard work doesn't pay off. I'm telling you guys. So I thought to myself, like, if I'm a professional, I gotta cut more weight, and I gotta get lower weight, and then
Yeah, he came in and. It was a grappling day, and I remember just kind of like watching him roll. And I think we got a round or two in, and then like Jason Manley, there's a bunch of guys in from California and stuff. And I jump on the betting line and say, "Where's this guy?" I was like slight favorite. This is back when we were able to bet. Yeah. Because it was like you get that inside information. The matchups and everything else. Brad fought Bubba McDaniel as well. Like kind of knew the matchup and what Sean was looking to do. And then,
I remember that. We had that conversation. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of when
I got a lot of CT, man. I don't remember that shit.
He cross-trained quite a bit. He was in California, and then he would come out.
California's utterly dead for me, man. It's like fucking dead, man. You can't run a camp out of California anymore.
Yeah. So he started coming to Extreme a little bit more and, weekends here and there and come out and train. And, he really fit in great. Like, I loved having him in the room. He brought a different dynamic to the team. And, and I think over time, he steadily started coming more and more out to Vegas. He was training with us. He was training at Syndicate. But, there was bodies for him. I think that was the main thing. It was just, at the time, for him, it just was about where can I get the bodies to train,
I love the story that you told on Joe Rogan about Mrs. Wajda, I think. And
I fuck whatever her name was. Yeah.
Well, she said you're the reason why prisons are built. And I just wonder, man, if you, what would your reaction be if you knew at the time that you'd be here in Sydney, in some way saving the card, getting a title shot, man?
I was a dumb fucking kid, man. My reaction would have been like, you're probably full of shit. But yeah, no, I mean, life's weird, man. As you get older, life gets even weirder, It's like...
It's weirder now than it was then for you?
So you start looking at things in perspective. You start looking at things in perspective now. Say 3 years, I retire, belt, no belt. In the day, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like when you're a kid, you want to be like the superstar. It's like the famous Fight Club line. You want to be this superstar, you want to make money, you want to be famous. And as you get older and you start realizing, man, none of this shit matters. Are you happy? Is your home life happy? Is your house in order? And so you start realizing that I love the fight because I'm getting paid. It's an ends to a means to me, but it don't fucking matter, man. I mean, look at fucking Izzy, dude. Izzy has to wake up every day, belt all the money, look himself in the mirror and know he fucking sucks.
Sean, just going back to that first time you and Eric met, what was your first thoughts on Eric when you walked into that gym to spar Brad Tavares? What stood out to you about him? And in that moment, did you know, all right, this is going to be my guy?
No, the thing about Eric, I'm a lone wolf, but I always say, the thing about he's a leader, man. I'm a lone wolf, I'm not a leader, but you take people who have passion to coach, and they have when you watch Eric coach somebody, Eric's in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So as somebody who also loves the sport, admires the sport, from an outside perspective, looking at the passion that he has for his guys, and he's a scholar of the sport, man. He watches every fight, he studies, I fucking way more than I do. Guy knows way more about fight than I do. But as someone who loves the sport, you see somebody else who also loves this sport, and you just have respect. And there's so many coaches. There's so many coaches out there that are just fucking cunts, dude. They're in love with themselves. They're in love with their shadow. Everything they say, they get these cult worshipers, and Eric's never been that guy. He's just led by example. He's just fucking, hey, let's work hard. Let's go win fights, and it's hard to find in sport, man. Usually coaches, they get a little fame, they start fucking their students, and they start a cult.
Eric?
I don't know.
No cult, no fucking students.
Yeah, but there's no cult. There's no cult at Extreme. There's no cult of Eric Nicksick. People value him as a coach, but Eric's not like the big brother that, gets in your head and And next thing you know, you start fucking hero worshiping him because he's just a fucking leader. He's a head coach. And there's a lot of fuckery in gyms, man. A lot of weird gyms are fucking weird.
We got so many good coaches in our gym. You know what I mean? And I think that's such a valuable asset to what makes our gym successful is like there's guys in the room that I don't coach, you know, but I think in for like Sean's example is like if you're the head coach of a gym, you're the star of the show. If you don't get along with one or two fighters, they have to ultimately leave, right? Because they're not going to be getting the coaching that they need. But when you have Ray Seffo, you know, Dennis Davis, Danny Davis, you have Eddie, you have Nate, you have Jimmy Gifford, like there's just a whole fucking roster of coaches that are in there. Like there's people that, like Sadabu is a great example. Like Sadabu is the PFL world champion, trains at our gym. We all coach him as a team, right? But he has his own coaching staff. So I feel like our formula that we have at the gym just fits well. Everybody gets their shine. Everybody's eating, right? You know, it's not just one big, hey, this is my show or get the fuck out. So for me, I felt like our relationship was better when you know, I give him some leeway. I give him some slack. So like the gym standard, we have a standard for the team. Not my standard, it's a team standard. Please follow this team standard. Right?
Show up on time.
Show up on time. You know, be prepared.
Show up early. On time is late.
But people are like coming to extra sessions. Like we're hearing stories, people want to help out. Like Sean, you love to come and help out the team members. Like there's
well, like Ray Seffo's not my coach. He's never held pads from me. But I think every day he gives me advice. Every day Ray will watch me spar. I'm like, hey Sean, let me pull you aside and help me out. Not my coach, never held pads with him. You know, we're not buddy, but he'll see some shit. I'm like, hey Sean, I'm a world champion kickboxer. I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers in the world. Actually, funny enough about Ray Seffo, there's not many fucking people that in the gym like that called me out. Like even say Francis. Say Francis like, fuck you, Sean, you did something to offend me. I'm like, well, fuck it, Francis. Like, you want to fucking fight? Like, I don't know what I did, but fuck it. But Ray's the one guy where if he said that, I'd be like, Ray, like,
I'm sorry.
Why do we? Like, Ray, can't we be bigger men about this? Like, can't we talk this out? Why do we have to be so aggressive, Ray? You know.
So an interesting correlation between like Izzy and Eugene is Ray and myself. And Ray comes from that New Zealand kickboxing background with Lolo, and Eugene was in the same gym, and all those guys. So you know, there is a lineage, I think, between all of us that's, you know, I think probably missed, you know what I mean? Like people don't really know that. And Ray is really like a big reason why I'm in the position I'm at today was having Ray Seffo, you know, so he's ultimately the big brother of what we do on a day-to-day basis, but he's a guy that's in the gym every goddamn day, sparring, you know, giving guys looks.
I box him on Fridays.
Yeah, I mean,
his big ass will hit me too every now and then. I'm like, how the fuck?
I mean, he still got it, bro. Like Ray still has it, but
I'm telling you, he's the one guy, dude. If you ever have road rage and you see him get out of the car,
don't do it.
Unless you already have your gun drawn pointed at him, don't do it.
Because I've been in those cars with Ray when he's had road rage and he's got this big ass.
Ray has road rage?
Oh, dude, does he?
Bro, it's only.
No, Ray is not.
It's only a chance. Like it's only like. The only reason why Ray is not locked in a prison cell is because he just got lucky.
Witnesses are dead.
The bodies are buried.
He just got lucky. Like if he had to go relive his life, the chances are Ray would probably be locked in a prison.
For sure, like the Ray stories, like the people he's knocked out, like all throughout New Zealand. Like we'll get on these Ray Seffo stories on our road trips, you know, and Ray will tell us a story about how he knocked out like 7 people at a club, and I believe him because he got the touch of death. If he puts his hands on
there was a story about a guy walking the gym who like threatened or like said he'd fuck him up, and Ray was like, it's on site, and the guy walks in the gym and Ray just walks over and fucking hits the guy.
Yeah, like, that was pretty dope.
But that'd be
hold on here. This is the best part. This is the best part of this shit. I gotta tell this part. Yeah. So fucking the dude was talking shit about Ray on social, and it came back to us somehow, some way. And then like a year goes by, right? And I see this dude in the gym. Right? Like out of nowhere, I see him in the gym and I see him, I'm like, oh shit. I run over to my phone, I'm like, hey Ray, you ain't gonna fucking believe who's here. And Ray's like, I'm on my way. We set this dude up for failure, bro. We knew this dude was gonna get lit. So we're all just waiting, and Ray sees this dude, walks over, and the guy's like, oh, hey Ray, and Ray just bam, open hand, slaps the shit out of this guy, bro. It was legendary. Randy was there. Randy was like, Ray, no. So, bro, it was, Ray does not play around, bro. That was a legendary story.
But that being said, Ray is that old school kind of man.
Yeah.
Well, this dude was saying how he's going to pull a gun on Ray and shoot Ray and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, bet. You were at the gym now. Okay, let's get.
We live in a world where like people aren't held accountable for what they say.
Bro,
you can say anything,
yeah.
and I think sometimes people forget like, hey man, there are consequences.
For sure, and that's what I love so much about like we got a little bit of a talking about our green light sessions or guys coming into the gym. Like we got a little bit kind of coming down from the top, but we had a guy. I won't say his name, but he was like a reporter guy, and he loved to like come in and spar and move around with the team, but he gets very, very vocal on social media and says shit like your fucking ass can't cash, and he said some shit about some of the boys and comes into the gym and one of the guys is like, yo, we're fighting. He's like, well, for what do you mean we're fighting? So what you said, we're fighting. He said this, to a couple
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. So that was basically how it boiled down. I said, listen, here's the deal. Our big cage is named Human Resources.
Yeah.
I was like, here's the deal, bro. Like you can hop in Human Resources. Yeah. You can settle the difference with what you said about this individual, or you can get the fuck out. Don't ever come back. Because what you said, you have no, you don't think about your words having a reaction to it, or so this is your option. He took the fucking I'll never come back option. Just don't say shit about us, or don't talk shit on social media about teammates and people like that, because your words have consequences.
World ain't like that anymore, man. Now you're on the fucking tweet, you're on the interwebs, just run your fucking mouth, dude. It's wild, man.
Yeah, it's a different one, and I feel like sometimes when people are able to go into the gym and experience it, it's always good for them to actually know what it's like. I'm not going to let you get away with this though, Eric, because Eric's like, we've got an amazing team, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like he never gives himself any credit. Like when I hear him doing interviews and stuff, I feel like in a lot of ways, you don't talk about, the amazing stuff that you do as much because you like to highlight how great your team is. So Sean, I want to give you the chance right now to just quickly give us a couple of things. What makes this man special?
Man, he just believes it. It's like I said, passion. When you meet someone who has passion for what they fucking do, it resonates with you, who believes in the product. It's like, if you ever met someone who sells a product they don't believe in, and they're telling you like, I don't want to fucking buy this shit. Right. But then you're when you buy from somebody who loves the product, who believes in it, you're like, fuck yeah, man, I'm on this product. I don't even know what the fuck it is, but I want it. I fucking want it. And that's kind of Eric, where like the industry's dirty, dude. And MMA industry is a fucking dirty business. And it's hard to find guys who give a fuck.
Yeah, I think a lot of our relationships, even like myself and Sean, we'd been friends for a long period of time before I actually, was in his corner. Same with like Francis. Francis started training with us after he lost to Derek Lewis. So Curtis Blades, the second fight, he was at Extreme Couture full time. And I was offered to corner him by his management for the Cain Velasquez fight, and we didn't have a vibe. We didn't connect. And from my standpoint, I feel like that relationship needs to be organic. I don't want to force myself onto somebody that's in the gym, and if he wants to work, we'll work. And lo and behold, the Junior Dos Santos fight, we started working together, and the rest is kind of history. But I like our relationships that I have with my fighters due to that, sweat equity, that time on the mats, the time spent with one another. And, he had, I don't know how many pro fights before, even like, I think it was a Uriah Hall fight. He's, hey, you want to jump in my corner? And I cornered Uriah Hall in the past. I was like, probably not a good idea, but, we've always been friends is my point. We've been together a long time, and,
And then the product he sells is good. Like, I'm not going to mention any names, but we had a couple guys that lost fights that were represented through us. They weren't really with us. They might show up on a sparring day, but they weren't with us. Big names. And I hate it because people ask like, well, fuck man, like they train with you, like they don't train with us. Mm-hmm. They train with other people and occasionally spar with us. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes like, cause Extreme is such an open door, our product is watered down because like, guys will come to spar, but like you don't train with us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. Like you might come spar us, but you're not grinding. Like our Monday practices are fucking brutal. Like our Monday practices, dude, like they like touch something in your soul where you're like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to fucking be here. I want to quit.
Feel like that sometimes on a Monday?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's usually like an hour straight of just like hard grappling, but different positional, but like, you know, but also too, it's not just these guys left on their own devices to wrestle hard. You have the leader, Eric, telling these guys pretty much, don't be a pussy. Like, hey, you're breaking, stand up. And it's so hard to, having that kind of energy from a coach day in and day out is fucking hard, man. You know how many coaches, like, by the time Thursday comes, that energy's gone.
Yeah.
It's hard, dude, to like go in there and like, you know, be the inspiration. Again, I'm a kind of guy, I love the sport. I don't really need the inspiration, but like Eric props up so many guys just because the energy he brings in. So like, you know, Monday will come around and guys are fucking miserable. He's out there in his fucking gym shorts playing fucking spike ball. Like, all right, fucking class is going, you know, like keeping that kind of high energy up every single fucking day, all day, whether it be the sickos, whether it be Monday. Fuck, that's hard, man. Yeah. I've done like 3 interviews today and I'm like, I'm fucking done, dude. When is this shit over, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like, that's what's admirable is like you're giving your energy to so many people and it never stops. And it's like every day of the week, you know what I mean? And it's an insane job, man. So it's very admirable. Yeah. What is the discussion like between you guys when it comes to like game planning? I'm not expecting you to like reveal your game plan, but I mean like you sort of do your own thing sometimes in fights,
a lot of it, like, so obviously we know we need to wrestle. I mean, you know, or we have been training wrestling, I don't know if that happened, but a lot of it, say I shoot a double leg against a cage and maybe I'm not hitting a trip or maybe a leg or maybe my hand's in the wrong position. Maybe my hand's too low. You need guys from the outside perspective who have the knowledge to be like, hey, Sean, you know, go to the knee, hit the trip. When I take a guy down, hey, that bottom leg locked down. And that's like at our level, like, you know, Johnny Nunez, Misha Tate's husband, he like, motherfucker knows so much, full-time All-American, knows so much. But I need guys like Eric who are just like, hey man, you have your takedown. He's on his back, lock down the leg. That hand, grab that fucking hand. When he has your back, fight that hand, don't let go. It's nice to have little reminders. Because, you know, when you're teaching someone that doesn't know fuck about fighting, you got to start ground up. Hey, this is how you do a double leg. This is how you do a single leg. But at our level,
you should know that.
You should know that. And as fights progress, you get so many bad habits. Maybe you reach, maybe you put your hand down, maybe you're heavy on your lead leg. So, you know, as I'm sparring and he's watching, he's sculpting me. Hey, Sean, heavy on your lead leg. Hey, Sean, you're chasing. Hey, Sean, cut him off. Hey, Sean, when he leads, you know, just slowly. Finite details. Yeah. Finite details is what like high level coaching is.
But then sometimes you'll kind of do your own thing in fights, right? Like you've just broken it down beautifully. Like you know all the things, right? But then sometimes.
Well, but again, I'm a hard headed motherfucker, dude. Like, you know, Eric gives me great advice, but a big reason why I like Eric in my corner because he's a fucking leader. You know, he pumps you up. You want to go fight with the guy. You know, when you fight, he's in the fight. There's so many coaches that are just there and they just show the fuck up. They show the fuck up and they're in the corner like, all right, grab a single leg, do this. You win. All right, good job, man. You won. Like, see you next to you lose. All right, man. Well, have a good one. You know, there's so many coaches that they get burnt. And I don't blame them. After you're cornering so many guys and there's so many ups and downs, Francis losing, Francis winning, like, it's hard to maintain that energy. It's fucking very difficult. That's why I don't like cornering people. I'll corner 1-2 fights a year and I'm done.
What's it mean for you, Eric, to be in the corner for Sean? You guys have been on this journey for such a long time, and this is it. This is like the big moment culminating in all the hard work, all the years that you guys have spent in the gym together, and now you're going to be in that corner with him. What's that mean to you?
Oh, it's huge. I'm super proud of him, to be honest with you. Like, you know, I know he doesn't take praise and compliments well or a lot, but being a part of this journey with him and, you know, seeing him when he got in his motorcycle accident, you know, and staying up with him and we would text back and forth and just knowing everything that he's been through in his life for that matter. And probably the most, I'd say, vulnerable or the real moment was when he, you know, we were in the locker room and he said that to me that day. He's like, this might be my only shot at this, you know, and I felt that with him, you know, and I think as a coach, I think him and I are kind of the same where like the championships are important, but they don't define you. They're not everything. I knew that right away. Like when Francis won, my mentality was like, okay, well, what's next? How do we be better from this? You know, now the target's on our back. So, you know, I think once you kind of cross that bridge, it's a cool feeling and everything, but it's different. I think
there's always a next.
There's always a next, you know what I mean? But I think it's just different for him in that regard, because, you know, when we lost to Pereira, I knew how, you know, he was like, man, like, I don't know, like and it was one of those things as a coach, I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, the way this division turns, I just need 2 good wins out of you, and we're right back in that position again. You know, so just trying to keep his head in the game, and it was. And then he goes to the fights for Whitaker and Dricus knocks him out. The first thing he writes me is like, well, shit. You know, and as a coach, I'm like, hey, bro, you never know. Like, I need you to feel like either A, might be the backup, or B, this dude might have got out of this fight hurt. So we just need to keep thinking that we're in this fight, you know? So the history alone, man, and just, you know, he's the guy he's become, the fighter that he is, the teammate that we have. And I know he says lone wolf. Dude, this dude does so much for the gym, does so much for the team. And it's not because it's like, you know, he wants to. He generally cares. Like, I'll watch him do his sparring sessions at noon. He comes back at 3:30, doesn't have to. He's there early. He's hitting pads with Danny at 4:30, but he's there at 3:30 because he wants to watch the rest of the guys spar.
You know, there's a big human element to Extreme too, where like, you have a lot of good guys, like Brad Tavares. When I mean by good guys, I mean like you got good guys there. Like Brad, great family man, you know. Eric brings his kids in. Like, you have such a human aspect of Extreme that it attracts you. It makes you like, you know, I don't really necessarily want to be a piece of shit. Like, you know, you got Brad with his wife, Brad with his kids. Like, there's this like deep human aspect to Extreme that like I went to ATT and I loved ATT. Johnny Eblam's a fucking savage, but to me that felt like just like a super gym. Like, it was lacking that kind of human element like that you get from Extreme, you know? And there's just so many fucking good people at Extreme, like low-level guys, high-level guys, struggling guys who made it. It's like, if you could document every single one of their lives and their journey, and like, it's fucking intense, dude.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And I'm so fortunate, you know, I walk in the gym and, you know, I get love from everybody, and there's guys fighting for $500. There's guys fighting for $1,000, you know? So MMA is fucking rough, dude, and we have just a solid fucking team that grinds and
feels like a football team almost. And now you got the background, Eric. You almost brought that football team dynamic where it's like a community and everybody is kind of working together. And even though everyone's got separate fights, they're working together. It's a rare thing.
Yeah. I think, you know, understanding like from the football side of things, understanding the ecosystem of a team, right? And knowing that, like, okay, you have your superstars, you have your guys that are, you know, the Aaron Rodgers or whoever, the quarterbacks that are getting paid all the money, but, you know, they're only as good as their offensive linemen. They're only as good as some of the practice players on that team. But I started to realize that in our gym, like, there's an ecosystem. Like, we need guys like Chris Thompson, right? Oh, yeah. We need guys that are like, hey, they might be journeyman fighters. They might not even be fighting any longer. They might have 2-2 records. But Chris Thompson is a guy who will give anybody around at any time, at any moment. So some of those wins, like, it's important for you to give credit to those guys because their self-actualization, they feel like a part of something bigger than what their career is actually. So for when you see our team, man, like, there's guys you won't even know their face and know who they are, but we really go as far as they do, as far as they help us, you know? So I kind of learned that a little bit through the football and knowing like, hey, practice players, you know, they might not be the best, but they're your scout team guys. And, you know, we need bodies. We need people in there.
You know, like Chris Thompson, when I fought a Boost, the gym was just kind of like, the gym was kind of low, you know, like sometimes guys get injured. So like, there's times where like the gym, you're like, fuck, man, it is stacked. Like there's so many, and there's times you're like, oh, there's one couple people. Chris Thompson works a full-time job. I don't even think he has a fight coming up. I don't think he's even fought in a while. And I call him. I'm like, hey, man, I know you're working an 8-hour job, but is there any way you could come spar me? I have a fight coming up in 3 weeks. And he shows up every time. Boom, boom, boom. Full-time job, life. I don't know, maybe he's married. He's kind of like quiet, but full-time job. And I just call that guy. I'm like, hey, dude, I need your help. And he just shows up.
You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, like, those are the things too, like, people don't see behind the scenes is just how much our team really does care about one another. And those wins that we're getting, Like you start connecting the dots to the people that actually give a shit and they're there to make us all put us in the positions that we're at. Like you get nominated for Coach of the Year, bro. That's awesome, but it's because of the guys that we have in the room and the other coaches that we have in the room.
You can tell the cuts and the cunts of the sport that I don't really respect. Like they'll fight, and maybe they live in a different country, so they go home for a little bit. But like, you know, you'll have guys who fight. They come in the room and they use all the bodies and they fight and they go vacation for like fucking 3-4 weeks. Maybe they're gone for a month. I'm like, you fucking cunts, dude. Like all these guys have been here helping you. Yeah. And now they have a fight.
Now you're gone.
And you're gone, and then you come back. And
that's trial and error. Like you'll know at the time. Like you don't give them access to the cage or you don't whatever. Like, but at that point, him and I even joke about it. It's like, hey, we look at it as like meat now. It's like, all right, and we'll go.
That's one of the things that I think gives me the most. It's like guys that will come spar our guys and like they fight and they fucking vanish for 2 months, and it's like, and then they come back. I'm like, well, fuck, dude. I mean, I'll use you as a body, dude, but you're not a fucking teammate. You're not one of the guys, you know.
So it's all been leading up to this moment on Sunday. And as we wrap up, because we feel bad, we're taking up a lot of your time.
I've seen me keep checking my watch.
Yeah. Sorry. How does this happen? I gotta
do the fucking press conference.
Longest 15 minutes ever.
Yeah, sorry. Usually we don't last long, and then here we are. How does this thing happen? Eric, Sean, when you envision this big moment, it's culminating in this big moment here in Sydney. It's going to be Sunday afternoon here. How does it go down? How does it play out in your minds as you think about it?
And also, what is this fight for you, man? Like, what would it mean for you to become champion? You've painted this picture, and you guys are doing a good job of illustrating how it's so much more than about one person. You know?
Yeah, but it's not like it's every fight, man. Like this fight is no different than any other fight I've had. Like I take no more energy in this fight than I did against a Boost or the one before that. Like every fucking fight I have is like. That is it. It doesn't matter. And I think some people like, so what's for a title fight? Like something switches in your head where I care about it more. I don't care about this fight more. I don't care about it any more than the last fight.
Is that true? Or are you just saying?
No, it's fact. Every time and this is all fighters. If you care about one fight more than the other, you're in the wrong line of fucking work. My last fight, I cared about that one just as much as I cared about this one. I worked just as hard. Like, I mean, fuck, dude. It's like playing a football game, you know? It's like, wait, I don't care about this football game. It's not the Super Bowl. How the fuck do you think you get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, one game at a time.
After everything, Mrs. Wajda, all the stuff that she said to you, everything that you've been through, your journey, the way you've changed as a person, for you to finally become champion, what would that mean to you, man?
Yeah, man, it'll be nice, dude. Man, fucking got to be the prize pointed for a little bit, you know? The UFC, they ride you hard, put you away wet. It'll be good, man. I got a good fan base, and I always say, like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna cash my check and be happy. But it's nice to represent, like, you know, the last real men of the world, you know? It's like, fuck, even Crocodile Dundee is fucking villainized by, you know, half the Australians, sexist, like, you know, you can't even it's crazy what they've done to the world. So it's just nice to be like, hey guys, fucking Crocodile Dundee's fucking awesome. Men are fucking cool. You guys are awesome. Own guns, own knives, be happy, you know, fuck taxes. So it's like, it's just nice to be able to represent these guys as opposed to, you know, jerking off your dog and subscribing to puppy porn pages.
Well, guys, congratulations. I mean, whatever happened Sunday, what you've done is incredible with Extreme Couture. And Eric, congratulations to you as well for doing such an amazing job. Sean, congratulations on the big moment in Sydney. We can't wait to see how it goes. And thank you so much for taking the time with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one, guys.